皆さんこんにちは. Welcome to the Board Game Dojo.
明けましておめでとうございます。
Oh, Tsumachan, you're here today. It's your first time. Well, everybody, please welcome Tsumachan to the in front of the camera. Finally, it's not just me that you have to see during a video. Tsumachan, welcome. Are you like nervous, excited? Your first time in front of the camera?
Very nervous.
Very nervous? Don't be. I'm sure everybody is going to love you. And tell us, why are you even here in front of the camera today for this episode?
To introduce our all-time top 10 board games.
Yeah, it's going to be exciting. This is our first time doing this, our top 10 games of all time, and I can pretty safely bet that we are not going to have any crossover, any overlap. So I think you're going to get 20 different games to talk about today. But before we get into the list itself, we do just want to say thank you to everybody who watched our videos last year, and actually ever. And an extra special thank you to those who are subscribed to us or subscribe to us on Ko-fi and Patreon. And to say a thank you to our Ko-fi and Patreon backers, we are doing a giveaway just for you in January. You are going to, if you are a subscriber on Ko-fi or Patreon by the end of January, that means you can enter now. You'll be entered into a giveaway of a package deal of Nuts A Go-Go from Ethan. Hyena Hero Wants to Slack Off, a really fun indie game that we also reviewed on our channel, and Boba Mahjong. So this is a retail value of over 80, I think it's between 80 and 100 euros to acquire these games, and all you will have to pay if you win this is shipping. So if you are subscribed to us by the end of January, you are entered into that giveaway. It's just a way for us to say thank you so much for helping to support the channel. It allows us to buy games to show people games that they might not be able to get or stuff for the holiday season. I think that those videos were a lot of fun to film, and I hope they were fun for you to watch. But I don't think that you are here for the Patreon spiel at the beginning of the video, so I'm sorry to get that out of the way here. Let's get into our top 10 games. Let me get a drink of the hot wine here.
How's it?
That's good. Yes, so good. That's so good. Usually people don't drink it for New Year's though, right?
Yeah, we have lots of spice left from Christmas.
Yeah, we have like a bottle like this. I thought it was going to be a small thing on Amazon, like a pre-mixed spice thing, but it turned out to be like this big of a spice mix that you would get at like Costco or Sam's Club. I don't even know who needs that much like hot wine mix. I think it was honestly probably for like a business, but whatever. It's fine. It's delicious. It's good. But let's figure out who is going to go first. So we do some rock, paper, scissors?
Okay. So good. Junkin boy. I go shot.
Okay, I win. So I'm going to pick that. I want to hear your list because your board game journey is actually, you are very new to board games. I think like the beginning of Board Game Dojo is kind of the beginning of your board game journey, right? Like, yeah. You didn't really play a whole lot before me. Did you play anything before you met me?
Only Life. And
Clue, right?
Clue.
Yeah, so kind of to modern board gaming.
Yeah. And Catan.
Oh, you have played Catan.
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So you're still pretty new. So I think it's going to be interesting to hear your list and how you describe things, because I don't think you're going to say like, oh, it's an area control game. You're just going to be... All right, so start us off with your list. What is number 10?
So my number 10th is Parks.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't realize you liked this game this much. Okay.
Yeah. So Parks is about collecting national parks as your collections, and then while you're collecting, you're on the trail. So while you're in the path, you're collecting sunshine, raindrops, tree, kind of like materials. So use those materials to get parks, to collect parks into your collection. When I was in college, I used to live in Oregon for a year as an exchange student. And at the time, I visited a lot of parks, like national parks, such as Yosemite or Glacier. And then every time I play parks, like the games reminds me of the good memories at the time. Yeah, the art is so striking of like, you look at the cards and you can, if you've been there, really easily like tell where you are, right? Yeah, exactly. And then like I can introduce, oh, like when I visited there, but this park is so beautiful, like especially when I play with Americans, with like Eric's friends are mostly Americans, and then they sometimes have visited the parks, and then I can have a conversation with them about the national parks, which is really fun. Cool.
That's good number 10. I legitimately did not know that you liked this game this much, but maybe we should play it more. It's on BGK. But all right, so my number 10 is probably Parks is very welcoming. It's a very nice game to play. It's very pleasant. My number 10 is the opposite of that. It's not pleasant at all. It's the game that I will probably never introduce you to because it's very cutthroat and it takes 45 minutes to an hour to teach for the first time. And it is Food Chain Magnate. Food Chain Magnate is a game in which you are going to be running a food chain empire. And you're going to have your own restaurants. And of course, to run your own restaurants, you're going to need to hire employees. And that's what you're going to be deciding on every turn of who to send to work and who to hire during that work and whatever it might be. But it's very difficult to kind of get that engine going because you do need to hire people to actually work for them. But at the same time, you need to probably train those employees so that they get better. But that's a decision you have to make. Do you want to recruit more workers or do you want to train the workers you already have? But on top of that, you also have to decide, well, who's cooking the actual food? I need to hire those cooks, don't I? But then again, maybe you're cooking burgers, but nobody wants to eat burgers. So you got to hire some marketing people so that people in the area want to actually eat your burgers. But actually down the street, there's another fast food chain that's going to be one of your friends that opened up a second restaurant. So now they have more customers that they can sell to, or they've slashed their prices that you're selling your burgers for $10 and your friend is selling their burgers for $5. So there's so many competing elements going on here, and it's extremely cutthroat. In fact, the designers, when this game released, said if you can't lose on your first turn, what is the point of the first turn in the first place?
Wow.
Meaning that even before you play your first turn, if you put your first decision of the game is where to put your restaurant on the map, that changes every game. If you put it in a bad spot, you're done. You're finished. The next 3 hours of your life are going to be miserable. So that's why
that's harsh.
It actually used to be my number one game. For years, this used to be my number one game because I absolutely adore this game.
Yeah, I remember that. Every time we go to board game shopping, and you always introduce me to, oh, this was my top 10 number one board game before.
Yeah, but the thing is with the list today, I think you probably did this too. Of we're trying to compare these games and try to put it in the best situation. I'm going to think about this game in the best situation with the best people, so I can kind of compare and make the list. But compared to the other games on my top 10, this one is just so rarely in just the right situation to play this with, that I'm with people who have played this game a bunch of times. We don't have to explain the rules. Everybody knows the cutthroat nature of it and is okay with the fact that maybe they're going to lose in the first half an hour and they have to play for another hour. That everybody's accepted that social contract, that it's just fallen down to number 10. It's still a great game. I still love the game because it's number 10 of my all-time favorite games, but I think for that it just falls from number 1 to number 10. But that's Food Chain Magnate. It's a great game. If you want to play, it's online. All right, number 9.
Okay, my number 9 is trick taking in black and white. It's very simple trick taking game. There are only 2 colors, black and white as it is, and then numbers. And then when you play the cards, you can choose black side and white side. And then white side set, let's say one side is number 1, which is the weakest number, but the other side said number 30, which is the highest number. So you can choose which side you want to play.
Why does it matter which side you want to play?
You need to win same number of white and black tricks. So let's say you win 3 white tricks and then you win 2 black tricks. So they're not equal number, and then there's the 1 difference, so you lose 1 point. So you need to win 3 white tricks and 3 black tricks in the same number all the time.
Yeah.
So you need to figure out okay, so I have stronger number maybe, but next time I need to lose, or maybe I'm gonna lose twice in a row. You need to figure it out, and you need to think carefully what is going on.
Yeah, you are really good at this game.
Yeah.
Is that why you like this game?
Yeah. Yeah, and then another reason I really like this game is I can always win this game against Eric.
Oh, so it's not even that you're just you are good at this game. You're just good against me as well. Okay. Yeah. Oh, all right. But yeah, you've introduced this one to a couple of people, actually. It's a really good introduction game.
Yeah, right? Yeah. So actually, yeah, we play with my mom, right?
Yeah, she likes this too. It's really good at 3.
Yeah. Also, when we went to Essen, we found out that this game was implemented by Korokoro, which is a Japanese game publisher. And then they're like not black and white, but milk and coffee kind of.
Oh yeah, they're not it's not like bears. It's like coffee and milk.
Yeah. So maybe it's popular.
Yeah, for sure. And Korokoro is the same people who were behind Robo Trick. So I think that the quality of the game is going to be really good. The original one is really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. This one, yeah. Is this your favorite trick-taking game, actually? Or do you have one higher? I think this is your. I don't know. Oh, maybe I shouldn't ask. Maybe that's like.
I think this is. So yeah, I think this is the only one only one trick-taking game.
Wow. Okay. Interesting. All right. That's good. Number 9. Trick-taking in black and white, which you call bears. I think a lot of people call it bears if you're in like, especially the Portland Game Collective Discord. It's called bears. My number 9 is a game that was probably my biggest surprise to be included in my top 10, but I kept doing the pub meeple thing of like it would be this game versus another game, and I just kept clicking this game over and over and over again. And we have played it. It is actually a game all about running a hotel. Do you remember it?
Grand Austria Hotel.
Yes, Grand Austria Hotel is right. Yes, awesome. I'm so glad you remember it. Yeah. So Grand Austria Hotel is, like I said, a game all about running a. Oh, wow, I must have running a restaurant. So yeah, Grand Austria Hotel is a game all about running a hotel. So at the beginning of the round, you're going to be rolling some dice, and the dice, depending on the number, correspond to a different action that you're going to be able to do in the hotel. And you're going to be deciding in snake order, you're going to take one of these dice from the pool that you rolled at the beginning of the thing, and then you can do that action. And these actions can be something like hiring employees to better run your actions, and they have special powers. It might be something like actually putting the guests into a hotel room. It might be actually attracting the guests to your hotel in the first place. But it's one of those really what feels like a classic, like a modern classic style of game in which you look at the box. It doesn't have like, I know for me at least, it doesn't have the like my favorite kind of art style on the box, but you play it and the mechanics are so elegant. It's actually not very hard to learn. It's very intuitive, and you can actually like pick it up and play even if you haven't played in like 4 months or so. You kind of can pick back up on the rules really easily. I think I like this game best at 2 or 3. I have not yet played with the Let's Waltz expansion, which is supposed to make this game better at 4 because the snake draft can make it be like a really long time until it gets to be your turn again. But I really enjoy Grand Austria Hotel. That is my number 9.
Is that a Japanese game or non-Japanese?
It is a German game, if I remember correctly.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think so.
I remember that we played with 2 of us before.
Yep. We played just the 2 of us. So that's my favorite player count of this game is 2 players.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, how about you? What's your number 8? Moving on up.
My 8th place is Scout. Because Scout is very... First, when I played the game, I thought, okay, this is not another kind of card game. But actually, it's not. Like, first of all, you cannot shuffle your card. You cannot rearrange your card. That was like, what? The point of the game. And the second one is if you want to play, if you cannot play, you can just take the card from the middle and then you can add it to your hand. Yeah, because you're trying to play cards that are higher than the person before you, and you're trying to get rid of your cards first. Yes. But you know, you can add a card and make your hand better, right? And I'm sorry, but I don't remember why I cannot explain why I really like it, but like every time I play the game, like everyone laughed very hard and I really enjoy myself with playing the game with people. Yeah, and it's one of those things where it's like anybody can play it. Yeah. Right? Which you really like in games, because we've played this with quite a few people, actually. Yeah, quite a few people, yeah. Nice, okay, you're number 8, Scout. My number 8 is also a game that I played probably... on my list, I think this is actually probably the game that I've played with the most amount of people. Probably because it is a great party game for large groups. And I mean, like, this is my go-to party game for when you have more than 5 people at your place. And that is Deception Murder in Hong Kong.
Deception Murder in Hong Kong is a social deduction game in which one player at the table is going to be a murderer. Everybody in front of them has 2 rows of cards that consist of a murder weapon and evidence left behind at the crime. And everybody's going to close their eyes, and one person is going to be kind of the game master. They're the forensic scientist. And the murderer is going to open their eyes and point to one of the murder weapons in front of them and one of the pieces of evidence. Now, depending on how many people are playing the game, there might also be accomplices that are helping out the murderer or witnesses that are helping the police officer, because everybody at the table is going to be acting like they are the police officers trying to catch the murderer. And the forensic scientist is going to have to be silent, but they are able to give clues based on randomly drawn cards. And this might be something like the motive of the crime or the location of the crime. So if the murder weapon is something like a syringe, then hopefully you draw a card in which the location is probably a doctor's office, because that would be really helpful, right?
Yeah.
But most of the time that's not going to happen. So the forensic scientist is kind of playing their own game where they're trying to create a story to kind of get everybody else to guess what the murderer is doing. Meanwhile, you have the murderer and the accomplice trying to be like, I don't know, this is the doctor's office, and I'm pretty sure that, like, I don't know what else has to do with the doctor's office on the table. Something like that. I adore this game. I think that this is, like I said, this is my go-to party game for groups that are larger than 5. Because I do think that my favorite player count of this is probably like 6 or 7. That way you get all the different roles involved and everybody's kind of doing their own thing. I don't know, I just always really enjoyed this game. I have all of the promo sets for this game so that you can like travel to different countries based on the thing. So like there's like a Japan set and a Korea set that you can play with where all like the stuff has to do with those countries. So I think this is a great game. This is my number 8, Deception Murder in Hong Kong.
I like the game too. Do you remember any good murder case with the game?
I don't remember any one in particular, but I do remember the first time when I was learning how to play this game. I was taught when I first moved to Japan. And it was the game we played at the board game group when I was trying to make friends. And I just remembered that the guy who ran it was his favorite game. And he was so good at being the murderer. Like, literally, he was able to make nobody guess him. He was so convincing. And then at the end, he's like, oh yeah, I was the murderer. And just like, everybody's like, whoa, really? You had us completely convinced that you were not it. And it's just like that thing of like, I love games that you can like get better at. But the nice thing about Deception is that you don't straight up have to lie to people and say like, I'm not it. Like, or like, you know, like cockroach poker, when you have to like give somebody a card and you're lying straight to their face, like, this is a cockroach. You don't have to do that. So I find that like people can get like, not lie easier, but people who maybe don't like social deduction games really like Deception, because they can be like, well, it could be the axe in front of me because the location was a kitchen, but actually, you know, there's like a kitchen knife over on the other side of the table. That makes sense too, right? So it's like that thing of like, it gets people into social deduction that maybe aren't usually into social deduction. They don't like werewolf or something like that. So yeah, that's my number 8.
Nice. I like the game too.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Are we gonna see it later on your list?
We'll see.
Oh, okay. Dang it. All right, what's your number 7?
My 7th place is Watergate and Match of the Century.
Oh, both. Okay.
Yeah. I think both games are kind of similar a little bit, because both games are only 2 players game. Both players have different cards and different goals.
Right. Your Watergate, that's like Nixon versus the journalist. Match of the Century is Bobby Fischer for the American side and Boris Spassky for the Soviet Union, right?
Exactly. And then, those games are published by same company, so those games kind of have same mechanics. Like, cards have power and also special effect. And then sometimes like you need to take care of points at the same time, momentum for the next round.
So you like both of these. Which one do you think that you like to play more right now?
Oh, that's a tough question. But lately, I don't know. I think Watergate.
Okay, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Why? What makes you drawn to Watergate? The theme? You're just more interested in the theme, or?
Yeah, I'm more interested in theme, but so Match of the Century is all about mental energy, mental power, something like that. I mean, if you haven't played this game yet, you have no idea what I'm talking about, but just more mental power, you can have more cards, and then you have less mental power, you have less cards. That's it. And also, mental power and the points you get in the round is different things. So you need to like pay attention, like which one you're trying to win. Sometimes you can win those, but sometimes like you need to choose.
Like you might have to lose this game of like this round. You might have to lose this round, but you can gain mental energy so you do better in the future.
Yes.
Or win
Exactly.
this round, but you lose mental energy, so you're probably worse in the future.
Yeah, exactly. And then, but we kind of figure out like mental energy is very, very important. So like every time we play, we try to win mental power, mental energy a lot.
Right.
So we kind of find out the way to win.
Yeah, well, at least right now, yeah, the meta is definitely forming right now of mental energy.
So
Do you think it's for the same kind of person? Like, do you think the same person would like both of these games? Or
yeah, definitely. Also, like, I think this is very good couples game. Yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I really like this one. I really like it. I think I like Match of the Century better at the moment, but it might go back and forth. But both really good games. Good choices, number 7. My number 7 is also a game that like I think of as a 2-player game, even though it plays more, but I really only enjoy it at 2 players. And this is my most played game of 2023.
Oh.
I have played over 200 games of this
How did you
on
count?
Board Game Arena because it keeps track on there. And it is Innovation. Innovation is a game that I should have played a long time ago because people kept telling me, Eric, you would really like this game. Please just play it. And then the rules just made me like not want to because it's very swingy. So in Innovation, you are going through different ages. And the higher the ages, the kind of better the cards because your civilization is getting better at things. So at the very beginning, you're like inventing the wheel. Right? And by the end, you're inventing nuclear science, right? But you have to kind of get there. And throughout the game, you're going to be doing different combos, but every single card seems like it completely breaks the game. So you're going to play a card, and then your opponent goes like, how on earth? There's no way that card says you can do that. There's no way. And then sure enough, you can do it, but then your opponent is going to do the same thing back to you. Back and forth as you kind of build up all of these different entities, because throughout the game you're probably going to get good at like a certain thing. Like you might be really good at the one that's like medicine, which is a bunch of like leaves are just like how medicine gets better, so you're really good at a certain thing in the game. Or red is usually like attacking, so like pirates, like you're going to learn how to be a pirate. So you have like a pirate empire and stuff like that, so you're going to start stealing your opponent's cards over and over again. And like every single person that I've played this with, we can play it over and over again, and it's so fun to not only learn the different parts of the rules. I mean, it's like literally, it's not that many cards. You're going to see the same cards every single game, but different people are going to use these cards in such a different way that it feels like a completely different game. On BGA, they have 4 expansions on there.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
I have not played with one of them because there's no need. I've played over 200 games of the base game and seen the same cards over and over again, but I still am interested in them.
That's a lot.
So that is my number 7. It is Innovation. I am just like, not obsessed, but at one point during this year, I had like 13 different tables of Innovation going at the same time.
I feel like it's rare for you to obsess with one game that much. I usually obsess with one game. Like in like a week, I say again.
Yeah, yeah.
Kind of like a 5-year-old kid to watch the same movie over and over.
That's so accurate.
Every time I lose, I again, and sometimes we play like 10 or 20 games.
Yeah, that's you with Ticket to Ride right now.
Yeah.
It's like again. Just like, but yeah, it is much rarer for me. I just think, and I think that's a testament of like, it's very rare for a game to crack my top 10 in the very first year that I've played it. But this one did, and it's not even at number 10. It's at number 7.
Okay.
So I don't know. I really like it. Everybody was right the whole time. Thanks to everybody who like taught me. That's the one thing about this game is that like play it with somebody who can teach you, because having a good teacher that will walk you through how everything works is really great.
So my number 6 is Star Realms.
Ooh, okay.
You introduced me the game a year ago. if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so I was traveling around for my teaching job, right? You would play it in the hotel.
Yeah.
Yeah. Good. So you must have fond memories of it then if it's your number 6.
That was my first time. How can I describe like building decks games?
Oh yeah, deck builder. Yeah.
Deck building games. Because I never played. I never played Yu-Gi-Oh or Duel Masters or Pokemon when I was a kid at all. So it was my. I don't know. You guys considered that game as a deck builder, but my first ever deck building games.
Yeah, I think that one's like deck construction are those where you build it before. I think, and then deck building is when you do it during the game. So you like it when you're doing it during the game. Everybody's doing it at the same time during the game, right? Okay. What makes Star Realms? So Star Realms is a game that I'm a bit surprised because Star Realms is a game where you're deck building in space. I didn't really think you liked the theme that much.
I don't like space at all. That makes me scared all the time.
Scared? What do you mean scared?
Because like I feel like I'm so tiny in this galaxy. I'm nothing.
Oh, there's a word for that. What is that? What is that? Oh my gosh, I have to look this up now.
So I'm not a big fan of space, or like I don't like a lot. I'm not a big sci-fi person at all. I'm usually very heavy on artwork or like not game design.
Like the illustration
person. So like parks, it's so beautiful, but like usually I avoid when I see space games. I will sci-fi. First of all, sci-fi. I don't like it.
So you don't like the art, and deck building's kind of new to you. So what makes Star Realms so different for you?
I really like making combos.
Yeah, those are fun in that game.
The first it was kind of weak, but as you getting rid of your cards, and then your deck will become stronger. And then when you can destroy opponent's ship with like 20 points, with 20 damage at the same time, like I feel really satisfying.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
Does it make you want to play other games that are like it? Or are you pretty content with like Star Realms right now, and maybe at some point you'll get into more deck building?
Maybe deck building, that's future, but now I'm happy with Star Realms.
Yeah, and it's nice and on the iPad and
Yeah.
stuff, so it's pretty good. Nice. All right, that's a good choice for number 6.
Thank you. And your number 6?
My number 6 is, well, if you don't like good art, you're not gonna like my next game, because I know some people really like the artwork in this one, but I am not one of them. It looks like a dusty, old, what we call a Euro game, but it is a fantastic game. That's why it's my number 6, and this is the bag building game Orléans. Orléans is a game in which you are going to be, there's a lot of different objectives and things to do on the board, but you're actually going to be doing kind of like deck building, but with a bag. So instead of like having to purchase cards and then put them in the deck and then shuffling the deck and stuff, you're actually putting the tokens for each of your characters in a bag, and then every round you have to draw out of the bag. So it's kind of a little bit of luck, and the different characters like the monks or the soldier and stuff, they can be put in different spots on your board, and based on when you fill up everything that is needed for that event on the board, then you can actually do that event. So it might be something like if you can unlock the farmer, then you can actually like harvest some wheat and you get some points for that because you were able to farm. Or you might be able to hire soldiers and they can do different things on the board. You might be able to go to the library and acquire knowledge, and those are points at the end of the game. So there's actually quite a bit of ways to get points in the game, and it feels really fun because there are so many different ways of playing the game. There are so many different strategies that you can employ when playing the game that no two games of it really feel the same, which is really, really nice. I really like that. And it is one of those games where I think it had one of the biggest surprises to me, because when I looked at the board, I'm generally like you, where it's like that first impression of like the artwork is so important to me, and this is just so beige. It's so ugly. When you look at the board, I'm like, oh my gosh, what era is this game from? Oh my goodness, this is not gonna be a fun game. But then you're like, you get into it. Everybody starts at the same point, like you were talking about, and then you're like slowly specializing your bag and having to choose who you send to work because, you know, maybe if you leave them on the board, they're no longer on the bag. So that means that you're not going to be able to draw them the next turn and things like you're like making all of these little decisions. And it's just, it actually feels fun. You're building up your own little empire almost, is what it feels like.
Okay.
And I like, and you know what I really like about it is it doesn't take very long. You would think that this would take a long time. This plays in less than I would say it takes about an hour, a little over an hour to play, which is like really, really fun. And everybody's kind of doing their own thing at the same-ish time. And then you have to do in certain things in order. So it's never gonna take a super long time. Which is nice. I really like this game. I was so surprised that I like this game, and I think that's probably one of the reasons why it's number 6 is just that. Like, expectation was here, and then fun level was here.
Are you a heavy game person or non-heavy game person?
That's such a good question. I think I struggle to say like I'm a heavy game person. I don't think so. I think I'm like in the middle. I like to think of myself as like an omni gamer, so I'll play whatever as long as it's fun. Like I don't mind sitting for a 45-minute teach if the game is fun, but I'm also perfectly happy playing a party game at any time or a light game anytime.
I see.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. We have Japanese meme, and then I saw the board gamer tweet that like usually the board gamers just become like heavy gamers.
Oh,
and then
okay.
like they cannot satisfy with like small games.
Yeah.
And then always I want to play heavy games. People who like small games or like short party games are not enough enough good board gamer.
Yeah.
Good enough board gamer.
I've heard of that. That is like I wouldn't say popular thought, but that is like I've heard that thought a lot in like the Western world as well, and I hate that thought. Like party games are just as much board games as heavy games are. It's just like what preference you have. What do you think of that?
When I play with board games with my friends or your friends, they usually have no idea about what board game is. They have played only Catan or Life or Monopoly, so I usually bring the games I like because usually they like to. And then I don't like heavy games at all because my least favorite part of board game is listening to rules. I go bored immediately.
I almost always have to teach you the games twice because you never listen the first time.
Yeah. Every time like Eric, oh, did you get it? And I'm like, oh no, but let's see how it goes.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty thing too. Yeah, like pretty common thing too. A lot of people do that. Yeah, we'll just see. Yeah, we'll learn as I play.
Yeah.
I'll learn as I play. Yeah, but yeah, I totally know what you're talking about. Of like, I just cannot agree with the whole of like. I think even if you like enjoy the game of life, or you enjoy Scrabble, or you enjoy Clue, like guess what? You're a board gamer. What else are you gonna call that? Right? It's not a video game, right? You're still a board gamer. You enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like, no gatekeeping. No gatekeeping here at the dojo. That's what we call it, gatekeeping.
Okay.
All right, so let's get into our top 5. Start us off.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Okay, my 5th place is Sea, Salt, and Paper.
How much is... really? Like, really?
Yeah.
That soon?
We have over there.
And it's number 5 already?
Yeah.
Wow, okay. All right.
Sea, Salt, and Paper. First of all, I had no idea what game is. I thought it's kind of another like rock, scissors, paper game.
Oh. Sea, salt, and paper.
Yeah. It was very different. It was you collecting cards and then pair it up and then you collect set and then that's gonna be your points and then compare with others.
It's kind of a race in that aspect too. Like you want to be the first to like 7 points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then first of all, same as usual, I really like the art. The illustration on card, it's not painted but picture of origami. I think it's not because I'm Japanese, but I think it's really pretty and then very elaborated and it's very unique. Yeah, I really like artwork. you know, I really don't care about like the game mechanism because I haven't played a lot of board games, so I only care about is how easy the rule is and how cute or how elegant or how cool the illustration or artworks are.
Do you think that because artwork is so important to you, that your list of my top 10 favorite board games and my top 10 favorite art in board games, the list is probably pretty similar?
Not really.
Or no? It's just that your favorite board games probably have really good artwork in order to be your favorites.
Yes.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Usually, like, I'm so judgy if I say that, but like I put importance on artwork. So if artwork is ugly, that doesn't make me want to play.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it sounds like horrible, right?
No, not really. I mean, like, it's really important to, I think that's why you now have, like, at this point, you have really almost, I want to say famous, but popular board game illustrators. Because people are now, you know, what's the difference between buying this game and buying this game? Well, this game just looks a lot better on the cover and how the artwork looks. So it must be a better game or something like that, right?
Yeah.
So that makes total sense.
I don't know, like, I think maybe board game is different, but for me, like, totally outsiders, I think like, oh, maybe it should be like major board game companies' game is better because they have money, so they can hire better people or more people, so they can put lots of brains to make one game compared to one person created one game. So good artwork means they can spend a lot of money for artwork, or they know the good connection and they can ask better people, like they can ask expert. Sure. So that kind, or it's well elaborated compared to, oh, like, this is good game, but I don't know how to advertise.
Sure. I think you've now, like, hit on the main thing of, like, what makes it so hard to, like, start your own publishing company, or, like, why doujin games in Japan are so hard to, like, get, because, you know, you're talking to somebody who's doing it, like, one or two people that are just doing everything. They can't afford to hire this thing, so maybe that's why it's not selling as well, even if it's a really good game, because people look at it at their board games shop and, you know, again, like you said, like, you have one company that has, like, this really nice looking box. They've hired so many people, it must be good, versus this little teeny thing that maybe, you know, especially in Japan, like, sometimes they come in, like, the Ziploc bags. You know, like, it's like, oh, I think I want to play that game over there. It's an important problem.
I think if you know better, like, I'm pretty sure you don't care about, like, the artwork or like what container is it in, what container they use. But for outsider or beginner, completely beginner, like, for me, artwork is very important.
Sure, I think that's a really important point.
Thanks.
All right, so now let's go to my number 5.
Okay.
And as much as I love playing with you and playing with people, like, board games are a social venture to me. There is one game that I love, well, there's a couple, but there's one game I love playing by myself.
Okay.
And that is Spirit Island. Spirit Island is a game that you take the control of spirits, or kind of gods, that are in charge of protecting this island. And you actually are, like, something that the inhabitants, like the native inhabitants of the island, I can't remember what they're called off the top of my head, but they kind of worship. And you need to protect them from invaders that are trying to colonize the island. So it's almost like the colonization kind of story, but flipped on its head. That actually the colonizers are the bad guys. And what's so cool about Spirit Island is that, so when you're playing solo, you actually control 2 spirits, and they all have something completely different. Their powers are completely different. And based on what spirits you play as that game, you can kind of combo them together, because they all have a really big strength, but a really, really bad weakness that they need something else to help out with. So, like, for example, there's one where you're the ocean, and it's really powerful. But the problem is that they're in the center of the island where there's no ocean. Ocean can't get to them, right? So then you need a spirit who can actually maybe not kill the colonizers, but make them go towards the ocean. So then you can combo them together to use this one to scare the colonizers into going to the ocean, and then ocean can come and swallow them up. So you're comboing kind of like that. And it's an interesting system in which you can kind of know where the colonizers are going in the next turn. So you can kind of try to plan out what do you think you can do, because sometimes it's not about doing the best thing, it's about doing the best thing in a bad situation. Like you are in trouble, it's not going well. How can you make the worst thing not happen? And it's just a bad thing that happens. But it's really fun. I do enjoy playing it with two people, but it is a game that I enjoy playing just kind of by myself, kind of trying to balance these two spirits together. And there's so many expansions out for this game now. I do recommend Jagged Earth if you get a chance to, but you don't need the expansions. I just think that like if you're kind of interested in the variety of it, I think a lot of the fun in the game is in exploring the different spirits and things like that, and exploring the different powers and seeing how they work together, and combining, I'm gonna do this spirit and this spirit this time, kind of thing. Then the expansions are really, really fun. It's done a great job of maintaining that same high level, even though it's been out and there's been expansions out for years.
I see.
So cool, that is my number 5, Spirit Island.
Why you decided to play the solo game? Because you never play solo games, even like it comes with board game itself.
I think for me, like board games, I still see primarily as a social venture, but I had just heard that Spirit Island was such a good experience solo. If I hear something like that where it's like, it's a game that can play multiple people, but it's actually best solo, I'm a little bit interested in that. Like I don't usually go out and buy a solo game. Usually that's not my thing, but like I bought the game thinking it would be fun to play with one other person, or it'd be fun to play with 3 other people. That sounds really fun. And then I bought it, did the how to plays, and everybody kind of said, actually solo is probably like my preferred way of doing this. And I went, okay, let me try it. And then I just kind of fell in love with it.
I see. Do you have any other games you really like with solo play mode?
I really like For Northwood, which is a solo only game, which is a solo trick-taking game.
That's rare.
Which is, yeah, it's super rare. I like that one, but I think those are really like the only 2 that I can think of that I like have played a bunch solo. How about you?
No.
You usually just play with like a versus, like you like games that you can play versus an AI or something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's as close as you get to solo. But yeah, I'm not a big solo gamer, so don't get me confused. I am not a solo gamer. My opinions are,
I like
who knows?
SimCity.
Oh, there you go. Okay, yeah, computer game. There you go.
Yeah.
SimCity is good. Oh man, that brings me back. That was such a good game. All right, let's go to the top 4 now.
Okay.
What is your number 4?
My number 4 is coup. It's French. Coup. No, coupe. Coup.
It's not coupe.
No.
Coupe dictateur. Cool. All right.
Yeah.
This is one of your first board games, I think.
Yeah. Besides Clue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You want to describe a coup in case people don't know what this is? Because I feel like there's been a lot of this kind of game out that maybe a lot of people haven't played it.
Coup is the game like each player has 2 character cards, and then each character has special power. You're the only one who knows your characters are. And sometimes you deceive other players and then use your character's special power. And then sometimes you say, hey, you say you're character A, but actually you're character C. You're not a character, and then you kind of call it out. The kind of game.
Yeah.
I mean, first of all, that was almost my first stage of my board game, so I have lots of good memories. And then at the time, I was completely beginner. And then my friends and your friends also a completely beginner too.
Yeah.
And everyone has such a good time with playing coup. Also I like very easy playing games, very easy round, like short time round, and like that games kind of help us to get to know each other, or it sometimes play a role as an icebreaker. when we have a home party with my friends, with our friends.
That's true. Yeah, we actually ended up giving it to one of our friends who just loved the game so much that when we moved, we were just like, okay, yeah, you can just have this. That's fine. You've played it so many times. Like, we wore down the cards of that game. There's very few games other than, I think, Deception and Coup have been the only two that I've like worn down the game box and cards of.
Yeah.
That's a great choice. That's a great choice at number 4.
Thanks.
My number 4 is another Euro game, another midweight Euro game. It is a game that I now own in a fancy felt box, in a red felt box on our shelf, and it is Gugong. Gugong is a midweight Euro game that takes place right after the Emperor of China outlawed bribery. So instead of bribing, you are actually instead giving gifts to all the different people that run the different areas of the map. So every place on the map will have a card that has a value on it. It'll be between 1 and 9. And you can then do the action at that spot if you give them a card that is of higher value. So maybe the boatman has a 2 value right now. So if you want to use the boats to get their actions, then you need to give them a card that is higher than a 2. And then you trade them. So you'll put like a 3 down, and then you'll put a 2. You'll take it into your discard pile, and you'll have a 2 for the next round. So the whole game is you just like bartering, not bribing. I'm definitely not bribing you. I'm giving you a gift so that you will help me in my thing. Because the whole point is that you actually are running your own family, and you want to meet the emperor and be the most successful family so you can kind of get the emperor's good grace. So you're doing all of these different actions and trying to build up you can like build up your jade pile so that you're like rich in jade, or you're trying to get your family pregnant so that you can have a royal baby, that kind of thing. But you can be doing all of this the whole time. But there is one track that you can go there, and the only thing you do is move up the emperor track. By the end of the game, you have to be where the emperor is. Because if it's not, even if you're winning, you're eliminated from the entire game. So you have to balance between like, how can I get everything to kind of interplay with each other so that I can not only succeed and be the most successful business kind of family in the area, but I meet the emperor and don't get eliminated. I really like the production quality of it. I think the publisher, it's Game Brewer, they're really hit and miss with production quality, but they absolutely knocked this one out of the park. Everything feels premium in this box. Even the expansion is really good here, and it is just a really nice overall package that I actually really want to introduce it to you because there's like lots of mini games that are happening. There's so many different ways to win. I think you would really enjoy this one.
Mini games like Mario?
Not quite like Mario, but it'd be like different areas of the map work in different ways.
Kind of like Sugoroku style?
Some of them are a bit like that. Something, so like if you go to the boat, like you have to put an emperor, or you put like a worker here, and then they move this way. You can go on the trail up here, and you can ride a horse to kind of like go to different areas here. You can go get jade. You can go try to influence the laws instead, so that it like positively affects, like you make a rule or something like that, so that affects you the rest of the game and everybody the rest of the game, kind of thing. So there's different things.
Interesting.
It's really cool.
Like, I don't know about Chinese history or culture at all, but I'm still fascinated about like Chinese royal history.
Yeah, sure.
Chinese royal history is so interesting. They're so like the one emperor and soldiers, and then like they are trying to take. We learn in Japanese history textbook, the Kakyo, that they need to pass super long and difficult exam to become a officer of the royal palace.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think there's so much potential to put the Chinese royal into a game.
Yeah, I like the way that they did it in this game of like, I don't usually introduce like the story behind the game very often, but for this game it's always like, all right, we're not allowed to bribe, but let's bribe, kind of thing. Like that's such a good hook to the game of like, all right, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's why still nowadays, like Chinese royal, what it's going like kind of scandals on royal palace. What is the kind of melodrama?
Oh yeah, melodrama.
Like Chinese ancient melodrama in China is really popular. I heard.
Yeah, my first boss in Japan loves them.
Yeah, because it's kind of brave or affair or lots of like dramas, juicy, spicy dramas there.
Have you ever watched them?
No.
No? Yeah, but yeah, that's my number 4, Gugong. We are in our top 3 now. I guess before we get into our top 3 though, we are doing this video in celebration of the New Year's, and New Year is the biggest holiday of the year in Japan.
Yes.
For sure. Like, not even close. It is the biggest holiday of the year. What do people usually do in Japan?
We usually gather at head of the family. Like sometimes great-grandparents or the great-grandparents, the firstborn daughter or firstborn son's family's house.
Ah, okay.
And then go to shrine and then pray that like this coming year is gonna be a good year and like that, and then eat osechi is a special meal for New Year's. Kinda that all ingredients in osechi last very long, so parents, especially mom, she doesn't need to cook for next coming 3 days, because like January 1st to January 3rd, like family should be relaxed.
That's nice.
Yeah, but it takes a lot of time to make osechi itself. But so usually like nowadays people stop making osechi, just like Uber Eats or delivery pizza, or just buy osechi at local supermarket.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say like 7-Eleven often has like the osechi reservations that you have, the convenience stores and stuff like that now, yeah. So you guys have osechi during the day. Is there something important that you eat or something traditional that you eat on New Year's Eve?
Yes, we eat soba noodle on 11:30 p.m. at New Year's Eve.
Why do you eat soba?
Because soba is type of noodle, because noodle is long, right? So means like if you slurp till the end like this and without like you chewing in the halfway, means like your life or your health can last very long. So you should not chew, you should slurp it up.
Oh yeah, I remember the first time that we were celebrating with your parents, they ordered noodles to the ryokan, like it's like a hot springs kind of hotel, and I didn't know I was supposed to slurp, and I like started chewing like right away, and your mom was like, no. Oh yeah, okay, that's kind of interesting. So you have like the soba noodles, and then are you supposed to eat them at 11:30, or you eat them like as it turns midnight?
We say toshikoshi soba, so some family eat for dinner, and some people eat right before New Year's Day. Some people eat right before New Year's Day. It depends on family.
So it's kind of like Hatsumode, which is a big tradition in Japan, where you're kind of like, it's the first trip to the shrine, like the first prayer of the new year where you go to the shrine. But like some people will wait for midnight to do it like then. And then if you travel in Japan for like the first week of January though, like every shrine, especially the big ones, are just so crowded, because some people are like, I'll get to it like on the 3rd or the 4th or the 5th or whatever. I'll get to it sometime.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, it's so busy the first week.
I remember that when I went to Asakusa, the shrine in Tokyo.
That was exactly the one I was thinking of. Yeah.
It was like January 2nd when I was elementary school with my family, and then we waited for 2 hours to pray for 5 seconds.
That's Sensoji, right?
Yeah,
Sensoji. Yeah, that shrine specifically is like, that is a bad idea for like the whole month of January. It's a bad idea to go if you're being a tourist there.
Yeah.
Okay, that's super interesting though. Thank you for sharing. Shall we get into our top 3 of the countdown.
Let's do it.
Hopefully you guys are finding this interesting to kind of like intersperse like Japanese culture stuff in between the games.
So my number 3 is Welcome to.
Wow, I thought it was gonna be number 1. Okay. Yeah, see, I'm glad I didn't guess.
Yeah, Welcome to is a game of flip and write. So you flip 3 cards and then you choose 1 card, and then there are 3 rows, and then there are like around 10 houses on each row. And then you pick the number and then you write on 1 house in a row. And then when you write, you need to write in ascending order. So the house on the left side should be the smallest number, and the house on the most right side should be the highest number. So if you choose 1 and you don't want to write in the middle, you want to write the very left. Each card you choose has special power, like number with special effect. And then the cards written on 3 with pool, like swimming pool power. And then they're on the board, they're like swimming pool. So if you put the number on the house with swimming pool, you can get extra point. And then not only swimming pool, but some house has parks, somehow, or we can put fences or kind of something like that.
So it's never like as easy as like I just put them in order. Like it's like sometimes I'm like I want to take a risk and put the pool here because the pools are worth a lot of points.
Yeah.
So maybe I'll put the 13 a little bit more to the left than I really want to.
Exactly. Also, like, so the numbers are from 1 to 15, and then the lowest number and the highest number, you have only limited cards, like I think only 3 cards. But 7 or 8, there are like 6 or 7 cards. So you have more chances to encounter like 7 and 8, like middle numbers. But 15 or 1, maybe if you miss this chance, you never have the card anymore. But what if you have 1, 15, 14 at the same time? Which card would you choose?
Yeah, it's tough. So why does this game, I think, I'm not surprised that it's in your top 3. I'm surprised it's number 3. What makes this game so appealing to you?
Like, after I play a lot of games with you, I mean, compared to you, I play a lot less, but
still, I mean, you've played a lot of games.
As my experience, I really like roll and write and kind of filling up games.
Oh, sure, okay.
Makes me like, I really like organizing houses. So I really like when I feel, roll and write is like kind of putting numbers where you want to put. And if you like put the numbers or I don't know, like anything in the columns or rows, like you feel really satisfied.
No, that totally makes sense.
That
You're always really into organization and stuff.
Yeah.
When I showed her the Container Store in the US, that was like Christmas all over again. So like, have you enjoyed the other versions of Welcome to, not just the base game, but like the expansions? Like we just got Welcome to Collector's Edition. Are you enjoying the kind of iterations of Welcome to as well as the original game, or are you just kind of like, I think I just want to play the regular Welcome to every time?
Once in a while, I definitely want to play expansion, but I much prefer playing Welcome to basic version. And then we played Welcome to the Moon. But it was a totally different game.
Yeah,
I feel like
it almost felt like Welcome to the Moon was what they learned from the expansions of like, we're gonna change it just a little bit. We're gonna change it just a little bit.
Also, as it's kind of like, what's the kind of legacy game?
Yeah, it is Legacy.
Yeah, Legacy. Yep. So there is story.
Yep.
So I didn't like it.
Oh man, wow. I thought it was good.
I sometimes I like my city, but sometimes I wanna play it this time. The 3 games done.
Okay.
And then like I don't know, a couple months later, I want to play it again.
So you don't want a game that you have to play like every day or every week or something like that for like a long time.
Yeah.
Oh.
You know my tendency, right? I always play like one game 20 times in a day and then stop.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I guess those legacy games that are sitting in shrink wrap at our house is not going to, I guess I'm going to sell those. That's a good number 3 though. I'm just actually shocked. I thought that would be your number 1.
I'm
for sure
interested in your number 3, top 3.
My number 3 is probably, I would say, of my top 10, probably the lowest ranked and most inconsistently liked one of my top 10.
Interesting.
My number 3 game is Edo. So Edo is a worker placement game in which you will be throughout the game having to fulfill missions. And in order to fulfill these missions, you have to have certain things in your possession and you have to be in a certain location on the map. So there's a couple different things that are kind of going on and it can change every game, and that's the nice thing about like the deluxe master set is you can kind of change the different decks going back and forth. So let's say that you're playing with that kind of the weapons deck. So the objectives will be that you need to have 3 of your workers. 1 needs to be in the capital, 1 needs to be in the geisha district, and 1 needs to be in the, I don't know, the blacksmith area, okay? And you need to have the shurikens. But in order to acquire those shurikens, you have to be somewhere that isn't a part of those spots that you have to be. So you have to almost spend 1 round getting all the resources that you need and hoping that nobody else needs the same stuff. Because every single spot does not have enough spots that everybody at the table can go everywhere they want. So if we're playing a 3-player game, in the blacksmith area, there might only be 2 spots. And once those 2 spots fill up, nobody can go there. Which means that like your plans can go off the haywire. So then maybe you should actually spend 1 of your turns making sure you go first next round, or you go early next round to make sure you can get it. And so there's like this beautiful tension of it that combines both the fact that you need to plan, but because of the randomization of the deck that'll happen, like sometimes the weapon that you need is just not available because it just hasn't been drawn off the deck. So then you're going to kind of be like, all right, I have a bunch of missions in my hand. I can't really do this one right now. Let me see how I can adapt and kind of change my plans. Or let me see if I can like adjust the luck that's happening. Maybe I can get rid of all the weapons that are out there so we can draw more cards and stuff like that. But I just find myself really entranced in how I'm not usually somebody that is like a huge worker placement fan, although my list maybe I am more of a worker placement fan than I thought I was, but I really like the tension of it and just feeling like there's so much stuff that I want to do, and every single turn you're just sitting there, please don't go 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 there. And then you get there and you're like, yes, I did this really cool mission. And then there's the ultimate mission of like assassinating the emperor. If you do that, you win the entire game. So, but it's incredibly hard to pull off. But sometimes you're just like losing and you know you're losing. So you're like, all right, I gotta try. And it's just like, it builds up. It's really, really fun.
I see. Why some people really like it and some people really don't like it?
It's the random aspect of it, I think. A lot of worker placement games don't have randomization, or at least as much. So like if you plan on, like I need 3 wood the next turn, I'm going to plan so I can make sure that I have 3 wood next turn. Okay, I did it right. 3 wood. 3 pieces of wood. Got it. But in this game, you can plan, you can try to plan as best you can, but sometimes the cards are just not going to work out. I, for one, I don't mind it as much in this game because I usually play it with people who are new to the game, or it was when I first played the game and I was new to the game. It balanced it out. That everybody kind of had a chance to win. The person who's played the game the most will probably win, or has a better chance of it, but it's not like 100% like other games are. Like Food Chain Magnet, for example, at number 10, the player who has played that game the most will win the game, 100% of the time. This one feels like everybody is so close. Even my first time, I remembered like everybody was within like 5 points of each other.
Oh, I see.
So I just think it's really cool. And the fact that like you can change and customize it and all that stuff. Again, like a lot of people I think like to be like, give me the best way to play the game. Don't let me choose. But to me, it's like, oh, this is cool. I can play with this deck this time, or this deck, or I don't like that. So I'm not going to play with that anymore. So, yeah. My number 3, Edo, and especially the Deluxe Master Set, but I know that's the Kickstarter version of it, so if you can't get a hold of that, I know you can get the original Edo for a lot cheaper.
Nice.
Top 2.
Whew. Alright. So my number 2 is Wingspan. I think people who watch this YouTube channel or already know what the game is, but Wingspan is you play a bird's card and you get food or eggs and complete goals, and yeah, to get as many points as you get.
And why do you like this one so much?
Because the art is cute.
So tell the camera.
I like this game because I like the art. When you introduced the game to me, my friend asked me to have her bird for 2 weeks. I think the bird is called Bunchan. Bunchan is on this YouTube channel for one time before. So I was really into bird at the same time. You introduced me to bird game. I'm like, oh my goodness, it was so perfect. In Wingspan, so they're kind of meeples-ish thing, but it's shaped like eggs, and then it colors is so pretty. It's pastel. It's not like purple vivid color as a normal usual meeple. I really like it.
Yeah, it's a great one. We have all the expansions and you like all of them, right?
Yeah. Also, some birds are really cute. My favorite bird is cardinals.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
On the card. So my favorite bird in Hokkaido, which is the North Island of Japan, is Shimaenaga.
Oh,
so cute.
So cute.
So one day, Wingspan Asia expansion version, Shimaenaga one day will appear as a card.
Board Game Dojo promo. Come on, let's make it happen, please. This is a good one. That's cute, though. Yeah, I think, when you first learned this game, that was one of your obsession games where we were playing 3, 4, 5 games, especially when it got to Board Game Arena. We were playing a ton. This one actually has more rules than you're used to, though, I think. What made this game more interesting to you to learn?
First of all, I really like the game matching with the theme. And then Wingspan is I think one of the games match the theme in how we play. Some board games use it. Oh, this is the game about pâtissier, but that the mechanics doesn't have to do with pâtissier or pastry at all.
Yeah, pasted on themes. Yep.
Also, the games want me to learn about birds more, and more makes me more interested in birds. At the same time, if I play this game more, I can know about birds more.
For sure.
That was my number 2, Wingspan. So what's your number 2?
My number 2 is probably going to come as no surprise to anybody who has watched any of our videos because I pretty much recommend it as a party game any chance I get. Yeah, my number 2 is Ito. I love this game. There is never a bad time to play this game. So Ito is a combination of wavelength and the mind, in which each player is going to get a card between 1 and 99. And then as a group, you are going to choose a category for the round. Something like most popular toy or best topping for a pizza or something like that. It's usually not that easy, but I don't want to give away any of the actual sometimes crazy categories that you get. And then, so everybody's going to secretly look at their card, and then they need to give a clue as to how high or low their number is in comparison with everybody else at the table. So if I have a 1, which is not good or least amount, and we have favorite pizza topping, it might be something like anchovies, iwashi. I don't like that on pizza, please no. But if you get something like 99, it might be pepperoni, because pepperoni is a very popular pizza topping. So everybody on the table then needs to try to work together to put everybody's cards in order. You'll then kind of flip it over, reveal, and see if you got it right. And depending on the version of Ito you get, the original Ito you play with lives. So everybody's actually revealing their card one at a time, and if you are wrong, then you lose a life. But Ito Rainbow, you're doing it all together at the same time, and you kind of reveal at the same time. So there's a couple different ways to play it. I still kind of favor the original Ito, but we have played this game so many times, and it's made me so excited because we've been kind of like screaming this from the rooftops, I feel like, for like a year and a half now about how good this game is. And it is now, I think partially because Essen had an English version, more people are actually getting their hands on it, and now people that have gotten their hands on an English version have actually posted like some of the topics that you can have online, so people can actually play the game themselves with, as long as, you know, people are using their mind game as a 1 to 99 card, and then they're going online and looking up the categories that people have put.
Idea.
So even if like you can actually play it with the original Japanese version, you can use like the Google Lens and just take a picture and stuff, but more people are getting a hang of it. I know like Trick Talkers has been talking about it for like a month straight now, that they have been absolutely loving it. I'm so happy that people are now playing it more. That is my number 2 game of all time, Ito. I just love it. Do you love it as much as I do? I don't think you love it as much as I do, but
I love it. I really love it. Like last time we played was so funny. Like we played a topic about what is the thing you want to freeze it in the freezer.
Yeah. Yeah. That one went off the rails. Yeah, it was definitely like something you need to produce a baby, that's for sure. That's what we'll say, so we don't get like flagged on YouTube for it. But that was what he said you needed to put in the freezer, and that, I don't know, like of all the things in the world, and we all thought it was like way more important. We all thought it was like the second highest in the card, but it was like, he thought it was super, super low.
Next to Ice Cube.
Yeah, so we put it next to Ice Cube. Like, of course, Ice Cubes need to go in the freezer, and then what he said needs to go right next to it, of course. And then he was like, no, it should have been like way down here. But it's just like, other categories are just crazy. Like, you can decide with your friends how crazy you want it, so that you can actually choose. Like, there are some like very casual ones, like pizza toppings, that are like, you can play with people you don't really know yet.
Yeah.
But with people you really know, like, it can get off the rails really quick.
Lately, my favorite Japanese comedians in Japan, they uploaded a video about Ito with their own unique subject. Yeah. So there's so many, it's so unlimited as long as you can come up with category.
Yeah, I think I think Ito Rainbow actually now comes with blank cards.
Oh.
For you to write it down so that you can like shuffle it and draw your own original categories. So yeah, it's cool.
I think this can be the Ito could be a TV program if they want.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But it's a fantastic game. I cannot stop recommending it. It's my number 2 game of all time, Ito.
Ito's a great game. Nice pick.
Thank you. All right, what is your number 1?
Drum roll. Maybe this is cliche.
Cliche?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's Azul.
Oh, I don't think that's cliche. I think that's a fantastic pick.
Okay, because when I visited Amazon France for the present for Noel, Azul was used for thumbnail for toys.
Ah, like it's really popular now.
Yeah. So I thought, okay, so Azul is now like Catan, Monopoly, Azul.
I think a lot of people will argue with you if Monopoly should be in that conversation, but all right, what is Azul, in case people haven't played it?
Azul is the game which you collecting the tiles and put them in your board, trying to fill up the board as much as you possible. At the end of the game, whoever has the most points will win. So
what makes this number 1? What makes this the best game of all time according to Tsumachan?
This is because this game could be very gentle and nice, or it could be very mean.
Yeah, we kind of flip back and forth. Like this game, we're gonna play really mean. If you want to block, you can block, and then this game, now we're just gonna go for high scores. Huh?
Yeah. So in your original tile, like there. So let's say like I want to collect red 5 tiles, and then on the table there are only 5 reds. Means if it's so risky, because if Eric take 1 red, I cannot complete. So if Eric notices I'm collecting red, he can take it to sabotage me, or not. Or not.
Depends on if I'm okay with making you angry or not.
Yeah. So sometimes we try to be mean each other. Sometimes we kind of try to be okay. So I know you trying to collect this, so I won't touch it. And then we trying to like get like high. We trying to reach our high scores.
Yeah.
And I don't know. This is so addictive. Like every time like I finish my roles, like this is a competitive game, but at the same time, every time I finish roles, like I feel very satisfied. I think it because like as I said, I really like organizing, so kind of like it feels me kind of like same feeling as flip and write.
Oh, okay. Where you're kind of like starting with nothing and then slowly filling it up.
Yeah, exactly.
I see.
So if when you try to organize bookshelf, like you put this one, but maybe you will buy like bigger book or thicker book in the future. So maybe you will like kind of you will keep the room for the future, and then you will put it. Kind of same thing.
Sure. Yeah. Totally get it.
Yeah.
Totally get it. No, it's a great pick. I think it's a great pick. I don't think it's cliche at all.
Thanks.
My number one game is a Japanese game based on the second largest city in Japan.
Yokohama?
Yokohama is the name of it. I love this game. Yokohama is, here's the thing, I think I really do like worker placement more than I think I do, because this is a worker placement game.
You should admit it.
Yeah, oops. So Yokohama though has the interesting thing of, so there's all these different locations that do different things, and all of them are usually very, very basic. Like you go to the fish market to get fish. You go to the tea fields to get tea, right? Very, very simple. Some of them can do different things like going to the bank to get money or go to the pier in order to get contracts. Because this game is supposed to take place when Yokohama first opened up to the Western world. So you have the British people, the American people, and I think the Germans are like the third one, even though I think it should be Dutch, but I guess the Dutch were already there. You are running around actually trying to get like the tea and silk and clay and fish in order to fulfill these contracts. By fulfilling these contracts, you get points. But you need to kind of balance this out with a couple of different things, like going to the church, which is a big deal in this time, because if you donate to the church, then you can move up in the church field, and you get a bonus for being the one who goes to church the most, or you were the most like holiest person in that field. It's not really called that, but that's kind of like the feeling. Or going to customs, where one thing you can do is get an import and turn that import in to the market, right? If you do that the best, you get a big bonus at the end. You're also going to be kind of doing technology, because during this time there was a lot of technology that was brought from the Western world to Japan. So overall, you're like also kind of gaining alliance with one of these nations by adopting their technology, and you can buy them from the market. So if you do a lot of contracts and a lot of technology from the same country, they'll give you foreign agents that allow you to go 2 spots in the same turn. Things like that. You're building up this thing over time. It's just one of those games where you look at it on the table and it looks like it is going to be an extremely difficult game to learn. But then you play a couple rounds, like you play just like a couple turns of it, and you get everything you need to know. It is so elegant. It's so fun to play. And one of the rare things about this game is that it's a Euro game in the mid-weight thing that plays as good at 2 as it does at 3 as it does at 4 players. None of it is bad. And I think this was one of the first games where when I played it, I had to go out and find a copy. Like I was smitten with the game. Not just because of like the Japanese theme, but how quick it was to learn, how quick it was to grasp, how quick it was to enjoy it. You can enjoy this game from the very first time you play it. And I have been introducing it to a lot of people on BGA as well. Like there are on the discords of like Board Game Barrage and other podcasts that I'm a part of, like there's always kind of people of like, I want to kind of learn this Yokohama game, like I don't know if it's worth it. I'm like, let's do it, I got you, like I will show you the way. But yeah, I actually own, because of it, I own that one. I own Yokohama Duel, I own Yokohama Roll and Write. But Yokohama is my favorite game of all time. I will definitely be showing it to you. I own the very fancy deluxe version with the fancy upgraded bits, because it's just like a game that I will never get rid of, ever.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to play with you.
Yeah, but let's go. Our camera is almost out of memory, so let's go through just a review of what your top 10 games are. Just kind of at the end here, run it through one more time. Right?
My number 10, Parks. 9, Trick Taking in Black and White, Bears. 8, Scout. 7, Watergate or Match of the Century. 6, Star Realms. 5, Sea Salt and Paper. 4, Coup. 3, Welcome to. 2, Wingspan. Number 1, Azul.
And my number 10 is Food Chain Magnate. My number 9 is Grand Austria Hotel. My number 8 is Deception, Murder in Hong Kong. My number 7 is Innovation. My number 6 is Orléans. My number 5 is Spirit Island. My number 4 is Gugong. My number 3 is Edo. My number 2 is Ito. And my number 1 is Yokohama. Well, that is going to do it for our first ever top 10 games of all time. Hopefully we'll do it again at some point. Hopefully you'll be in front of the camera again at some time. Will we see you in another year and a half?
It depends on reactions.
Okay, so leave some comments below if you want to see more of Tsumachan. And thank you again for a wonderful 2023. Hopefully we can have just as much fun, if not more, in 2024. 明けましておめでとうございます。ありがとうございました。Until next time, じゃあねー。